Liang Jing-kun coming into play. It's funny, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a little bit of warming up to get used to the yellow new Chinese uniform, but now I'm liking it. There's a Kill Bill vibe. There's a Bruce Lee vibe. I say both. I'm getting told Bruce Lee. Yes, both. I guess Bruce Lee came first, Kill Bill took that. So we'll see. Li Xiaolong, but now he's back in the, well, the color for the Chinese New Year, the color that has been victorious for so many years. The tail of the table in their WTT head-to-head. Liang Jing-kun has won both of their encounters. 2-0, we're looking at world rank number 4 versus world rank number 170, but Clarence-Chew, we saw him in doubles. We know that he's crafty, a left-handed attacker at 29 years old. Daphne Lau, our umpire for the match, will be taking care of the coin toss to determine where the players stand and who serves.
Please choose between red and black.
I'll tell you what I wonder later.
Red. Black for you. Black. Winner of the toss, receive.
So there it is. Clarence-Chew wins the toss, chooses to receive, giving the serve to Liang Jing-kun. Liang Jing-kun's an interesting guy for so many reasons. He's been a staple for the Chinese team. When you think about players like Lin Gaoyuan, I mean, the fact that we can talk about Lin Gaoyuan and table tennis fans anywhere in the world know who he is means that he's a legend already. He's done way better. You've got more than 40 players between the A and B team for the national team in China, most of whom you will never hear about. 28 years old, and he's got 7 titles to his name. 28 years old, you could say is past your prime for the Chinese national team. Very few players playing past 30, and here's a look at how he's done at the Singapore Smash in 2022, the first ever Singapore Smash. Semifinals, Final Four, round of 16, an earlier exit in 2023. And in 2024, a finalist. Only one player, only one man could get in his way. The defending champion, a left-handed Wang Chuqin. 29, 1 year, the senior, Clarence-Chew. Next generation, the first generation that really comes to mind for me in terms of Singaporeans representing Singapore. 16 years of pro, turned pro at 13. No titles to his name. That 38%, you have to remember, he's playing in the strongest continent in the world. So it's not easy. I think that's quite an understatement. Every other continent would be easier to get a high winning percentage by comparison. Prize money here, $75,000 up for grabs for the champion. $5,000 for whoever gets outplayed here today in the Infinity Arena. So Liang Jing-kun, incredible power. His upper body, you'd never guess he was a table tennis player. He's a big man, but the legs get an extra workout carrying that. He's fast, he's quick, and the fan vote 90-10 favoring Liang Jing-kun to win. At one time, you will see a backhand to backhand warm up on the parallel is when a lefty plays a righty. Liang Jing-kun, incredible spin and power, fast feet. I expect some good rallies here, but it's going to be up to Clarence-Chew to try and keep the rallies short. Surprise early.
Liang to serve, love all.
So Liang Jing-kun to start it off with the serves. Best of 5, love all.
Love.
Clarence-Chew doing well. Turns from the middle. Gets that forehand into play. 12, 13. Okay, short clip here.
1-0.
Beautiful inside-out forehand. Early on in the doubles, we saw this a lot with Clarence-Chew. Sort of a left-handed specialty, but he does it in a very abbreviated fashion. Doesn't waste any time. Coming over the ball, goes inside it.
2-0.
So tactically, Liang Jing-kun's going to test the wide forehand a little bit. After a player steps around early in a point, that's a way to make him backpedal. And a bottle challenge serve long to the backhand. Common tactic for a righty versus a lefty. It's called the bottle challenge serve because of a challenge online on social media that WTT did back in the day. Could have been ITTF pre-WTT dates.
2-4.
But what you would do is you would stick a bottle, a water bottle, sports drink, whatever it may be, on the line of the table and try to serve it around it on the parallel line. Completely possible, completely legal, not easy to do. 2 serving for Clarence-Chew. Soft hands, little rotation, good variation. Clarence-Chew keeping it uncomfortable. Hey, Physio Jeremy in the house. Jeremiah.
Left. 3-4.
It's funny, new physios on the scene from time to time, but you see a lot of familiar faces because the specific muscles and the injuries that you deal with, you need to know well within the sport. Oh, fancy the hands for LIANGJINKUN, but who has the answer? Clarence-Chew on the other side. Soft spin on the parallel. Keep your eye on LIANGJINKUN right here. Under the table, just spins the first one. Clarence-Chew adapting quickly. 4 points apiece. Again, empty push. And the length just right. When I say empty, I mean lacking spin. Not quite as much spin as you would expect to be on it. Jiao, say the Chinese fans.
6-4.
So a 2-point lead now, Clarence-Chew. That was on receive. He won the last 2 points. Forehand flick as well.
4.
Tactically, he's playing a fearless game. We see a lot of young players now that play in a way that's constantly mixing it up. Truls Morgaard, Alexi, every touch is different. Anders Lind, these are players you can't predict.
5-7.
And Clarence with the similar tactic out here. Maybe not quite as noticeable, but the variation in spin just the same. In terms of the idea anyway. LIANGJINKUN racing him to the backhand corner. We saw Clarence-Chew make one of those in doubles the other day, just yesterday.
The
comeback right now, LIANGJINKUN. Well, it is in Singapore. The majority of the fans here, I would guess, from China.
7-all.
Setting it up well. 2 serves in a row, scores 7 points apiece now. Earns himself a 3rd ball for the taking. Free space down the middle of his bingo card. LIANGJINKUN getting tough as the tough gets going here. But I'll say Clarence-Chew not giving up, always trying new ideas as he moves more to the center of the table to change up the service position. But back to the backhand corner for more traditional serve, gets the forehand in down the line. Two big points to set up 2 game points for LIANGJINKUN. He's trailing by quite a bit, 4-7. LIANGJINKUN, Jiao they say. So far, so good for the receiver in the lead. And the momentum completely changed from 4-7 down. He wins 7 of the next 8 points, LIANGJINKUN. So while Scherten looked like it almost said Chu for Clarence, would have been cool, flash in the front. It was a flash of light, the comeback from LIANGJINKUN. Gao Ning will be talking to Clarence-Singapore here.
你手上还在发力，那3个球全出界了，其他别的没有了嘛。发球自己正常跳，把手正。
LIANGJINKUN here.
第一板上手还有没
After
有？
that 11-8 victory for LIANGJINKUN.
哎，轻这一点，打起来就行。接发球呢，哎，上头也该得分，然后结合上扭发，然后就跟他打成中性相持球嘛，对吧？
So just earlier, a smash back to table number 4. Miu Kihara takes down Yuan Jianan of France. 2 players with pips on one side of the racket. And it's 2 timeouts used, but Miu Kihara, for many of you Miu Kihara fans, who moves on through to the round of 32. Oh yeah, I said I'd mention the
Second
DJ.
game, Chu to serve. Love all.
I imagine many of you were thinking about the music selection right there earlier on. Little blade music for the blades of table tennis. Back for game 2, Clarence-Singapore to start off and try to finish differently.
Love 1.
Element of surprise goes a long way in table tennis. It's part of the reason many said Koki Niwa was one of the most difficult players to play, most uncomfortable players to play, because you couldn't possibly be ready for what he was going to do.
2 love.
Out here, LIANGJINKUN making the most of both receives to get a 2-0 start. We're seeing a different level of power out here now. LIANGJINKUN, if game 1 was sort of dipping his toes in the water, right now he's doing backflips and somersaults into the deep end. Power from behind the table. Again, he's got explosive power. Just game number 1, we didn't see as much of it. And the timing as well, quick off the bounce out in front, LIANGJINKUN without a point dropped. That reaction. He's like, you want to feed me that? Sure. Give me a slow, spinny one to the middle. I'll take it.
Left. Love 4. Left. Love 4.
You have to imagine there's a flash in the crowd when they make noise like that.
Love
Good deep push.
5.
One of my favorite things about table tennis and why it's so good for the brain, I'm sure you've all seen viral videos online about how table tennis players outlive others. Racket sports in general, but table tennis the most talked about for that reason. And the reason
5,
is,
1.
it's such a brain game. You're constantly solving puzzles in your head. For example, that soft block right there, Clarence-Singapore didn't play it powerfully. And he didn't have to. He took all the pace off it. Clever, clever Clarence. Right into the middle of crossover, LIANGJINKUN continuing to extend his lead. We see you giving some love in the front row. Steady standard backhand here from LIANGJINKUN. Gets a long push, knows what to do. Pendulum serve half long. Gets a little bit of hesitation out of Clarence on the receive, and suddenly the options are few and far between. 14 of the last 16 points, so this is a big break here. Clarence-Singapore needing to break that momentum. terms of ideas, the fishing game from behind the table is almost a last resort in table tennis. So as soon as Clarence starts to play that shot, it's tough. It's going to be a tough way to win the point.
8-3.
Interestingly enough, Jun Mizutani, who's still very much in the table tennis world doing commentary and presenting, did quite well fishing, but he would quickly get aggressive when he could and turn to play the forehand, another left-hander.
3-9.
It's tough many times when you're playing someone who's got so few holes in his game to stay close to the table. Fans letting their voices be heard. Backhand serve here. Clarence changing it up.
Left. 3-9.
Good length on this one. Gets himself a third ball to attack. A little bit deeper than the first serve that clipped the net. Nothing fancy about the serve, just well placed.
Left.
Again,
4-9.
very shallow. This view is a good angle to see the depth of that serve.
10-4.
So 6 game points here, Liang Jingkun, as fans practice and watch. Long serve does it.
4. Second game to Liang.
Right back into the body. Liang Jingkun showing his dominance here. They've played twice before, and while Liang Jingkun won both of them, Clarence-Chew took a game in each of those matches, but they haven't played in nearly 8 years. First time they played 13 years ago. 2 relative veterans in the game. Liang Jingkun 11-8, 11-4, and game 3 to follow. Back for game 3, Liang Jingkun with the serves leading 2-0.
1-love.
I like it. Instead of fishing, you can imagine the temptation was there on 2 occasions in this point. Clarence-Chew forced himself to do the uncomfortable and counter. Watch the arc on his 2 backhands in this rally. 1, get ready, under the table, heavy arc, changes the game. Fans loving the quality of point now, 1 point apiece.
2-1.
Good attempt here from Liang Jingkun, but the serve just right to tempt that. Very difficult shot to play to the short side, trying to handcuff him into a cross-court opening. Little improvised last resort shot block there, carries long. Long push, and Liang Jingkun surprises with the ball to the backhand.
3-2.
Again, if I'm Gao Ning, I'm on the Singaporean bench right now, I'm saying that's right. You got to try. The timeout now.
Timeout.
So there's Gao Ning himself, a man who did well in the Commonwealths. Leader for Singapore for many years.
他的反手也做极限反手，他第一个你拧，那拧了对吧？他全盯着反手台，他就想拉。这种时候你能把这反手台拉起来很别扭，要不然就劈，要不然就拧，这种情况没有把 都打一场正手啊，这小打小不干正手都两个斜线多。
So some seeds to sprinkle in your smoothie or on your salad. A look at the defending champion, top seed Wang Chuqin, narrowly followed by Lin Shidong, who if he does well here could come out world #1. Tomokazu Harimoto, 4th seed now, LIANGJINKUN on court. Felix Lebrun, #5, Ugo Calderano, Truls Morgard, and Patrick Franziska. Shasha coming up next. Fans, you can hear them screaming already, seeing her on one screen in the arena, and she'll be playing against one of the best defenders in the world, if not the currently, Seo-Hwan. Incredible to watch, Korea's big sister. After a farewell to Jun Ji-hee earlier today, Seo-Hwan, nobody more veteran on the women's team in Korea. Stick around for that singles match, but back to this one, LIANGJINKUN up by 1. Long, deep look at that table for a moment. This table don't lie. It's a very honest table, you know? Every bounce is a good bounce. It's a perfect shot. That's credit. LIANGJINKUN plays that ball so low. It's completely possible there's a particle of rubber that was left on the table. Clarence-Chew is going to go wipe it down right after that point.
2-5.
There are books involving sports psychology about why even if it had nothing to do with something on the table, you would go wipe down the table. Good shallow spin shot here. The reason for that is it keeps your confidence. Again, accepting your mistakes in life, your shortcomings, being honest with yourself is important so you can work on what's needed to improve.
Left. 5-3.
The power that we saw in game #2 back out in this forehand. Young ones in the next generation enjoying this show.
3-7.
As LIANGJINKUN controls in the spin game, the short game, he's 4 points in front and 4 points away from the round of 32. Oh, the angle out in front, the timing just right. LIANGJINKUN in perfect position to be this fast. Talked about the brain and decision making. He sets it up well with a deep, long push. Gets a much more predictable shot back. Speaking of predictable, this was the opposite. Whether it caught the edge of the racket or whatnot. Watch Clarence-Chew, nice flick. Backhand deep to that corner. Sounded like it hit the edge of the racket. Either way, it's clearly going for that placement on the table.
9-4.
So reverse pendulum serve, not a lot of spin on it, inviting the opening attack, but from a tough place.
9-4.
We saw an exhibition point earlier with Alexis Lebrun, Mohamed El Bayali. Wonder if we're going to see one here. It felt like it in the last point. Think he'll fight in front of the home crowd, though.
Left. 4-10.
6 match points, LIANGJINKUN. Fight he does.
5-10.
When you're playing on home soil, there's that extra never give up pressure, that motivation you can feel, even if you don't have home court advantage based on fans. And there it is, LIANGJINKUN closes the door and moves on to the round of 32, taking down Clarence-Chew. What to do? Well, for you, there's a lot more to look forward to. For Clarence-Chew, he's played well so far in this event. 8-4-5 is all that the 4th seed allowed, so the 4th seed's still in it. Played to the finals last year, and this year, by seeding, expected to make it to the semifinals. Clarence-Chew, good to see you again at 29 years old. You've inspired a generation of young Singaporeans, and you continue to fight till the end. We appreciate it. And you played spectacularly from the start to get that 7-4 lead. LIANGJINKUN, 4th seed for a reason. And he's shown it and proved it. So, 1 down and many rounds to go. The Singapore Smash marquee event got the biggest end.